Hey guys, Tweenie here, and with the release of the alpha, I thought I'd make a little video outlining some tips and tricks for you guys to get the most out of your demigod experience. Now I'll be the first to admit, this game is far from perfect. It isn't particularly challenging, nor is it meant to be, but there are certain things about it that can be a little frustrating, especially if you're just trying it out for the first time. With that said, if you do want to explore the game and figure it out for yourself, you may not want to watch this. Don't worry though, there aren't any spoilers for the story, just tips to make progressing in the game a little more painless and to maximize your fun. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, let's get to it. Pay attention to the inventory cap in early game. When you first start up the game, you'll run into a little nymph who tells you about your limited inventory. Though she does stress that you pay attention to it, I'm going to stress it again. When you first start out, you have 10 slots in your inventory. You can see this by opening up the menu and looking in the Items tab. Each item in your inventory stacks, which means you can have 20 of that particular item, but it will still only take up one inventory slot, which is pretty cool. But if you obtain, buy, or craft an item with a full inventory, that item will be lost to the ether. You'll lose money and resources buying or crafting an item you can't carry, so make sure to check your inventory often early in the game. As you play, you'll unlock more slots, which will take a little bit of the pressure off. Make use of your vault, store anything you think you might need there, and sell anything you think you can get rid of. Prioritize crafting. There are quite a lot of weapons, armors, and tools in the game, but you will get practically none of them from battles or quests. Early in the game, you will definitely want to prioritize gathering materials either by mining or battling low-level enemies, and use those materials to level up your crafting. Make note of the items that each monster drops. The more you craft at each station, the higher your crafting level for that station, and the higher your crafting level, the better weapons and armors you can make. Same with foods and potions, which give you special buffs and apply really useful states to you or your enemies. Don't ignore side quests. Not everyone enjoys side quests, but they exist for a very specific reason. And no, it's not just to pad out gameplay. It's also to offer the players something interesting to do and allow them to earn more experience than they would otherwise by simply grinding enemies. Each completed side quest will offer you a sizable chunk of XP, which will help you level up faster, plus, some of them are pretty fun. Many side quests are only available once the player reaches a certain level, which varies based on the nature of the quest. As such, be sure to approach as many NPCs as you can at any given time in the game. If there's a green exclamation mark over their head, they have a side quest for you. Don't ignore familiar characters. Aside from the 8 playable characters, a lot of familiar characters from the series will come to you with requests. Don't ignore them. There are 2 big collection quests in the game. Though these collectibles can be a little tedious to find, I recommend trying to find them. Earlier I mentioned you won't get many good weapons or armors from quests. These are a couple of the rare exceptions. The loot is worth it, trust me. The first milestone for Talia's quest will give you access to a place where you can exchange rare gemstones and metals. If you're prioritizing crafting, like I mentioned earlier, then this is going to be very useful to you. Also, once you've finished a quest for any of the main characters, you'll be able to find them somewhere else. There, you can interact with them by talking to them or giving them a gift. If the conversation or gift goes well, you'll earn friendship points. Earn enough of those, and you might get something nice. Just saying. Stock up on healing items and heal often. I feel like this one sort of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Certain monsters can pack a pretty hard punch. It's pretty easy to think you have a fight in the bag until a monster strikes a critical hit on you, knocking you out before you get a chance to heal. Luckily, the game is pretty forgiving with the use of healing items. As long as it's your turn, you can heal as many times as you need to, provided you have enough healing items to do so. So, make sure you do. Read the messages you get in your D-mail. This one is slightly arbitrary, but it's very important to actually select the messages in your D-mail list. The reason for this is, as you play, you'll receive requests from other characters, most of which will ask you to come visit them in particular places so you can help them with something. But that NPC won't actually trigger unless you actually select the message in the D-mail dialogue. You have to select the message from the list and then select the read option. You'll know a message has been marked as read when the name of the message turns from purple to white in the message list on the left. Also, messages can come with attachments. If there's an attachment, it will be noted at the bottom of the window. You have to read the message first before the attachment option will become available. Once it is, be sure to select it and get your item. Luckily, for those of you that are a little forgetful, like myself, you won't be able to delete the message until the attachment has been picked up. Use maps. Even I'll admit that the two camps and New Rome are a little confusing if you're just getting used to them. You'll probably want to obtain the maps for those areas and use them often. The map for Camp Half-Blood is given to you by Dionysus when you get your cabin key. The map for Camp Jupiter can be picked up on the desk in the entry hall, which is right at the front of the camp. The map for New Rome can be bought for 5 drachmae from the map saleswoman in the forum. Once you have a map for an area, you'll have it forever, so don't be afraid to use those bad boys. Use the Demigod Express for fast travel. There are a lot of instances where you'll have to go from one camp to the other, and unless you're trying to grind XP by killing monsters on the long journey between camps or gathering resources, I recommend fast travel if you can get away with it. Early on in the game, you simply won't be able to do this since you have to make the trek to the opposite camp on foot before you can even unlock the ability to fast travel there. But once you've done that and have obtained some Hermes shoes, you can use those to get from one camp to the other. However, that's a one-use item. Once you use it, it's gone. You can get a number of them from fighting monsters or from certain quests. You'll eventually get a letter informing you that the Demigod Express is finally opened up. This railway will take you safely and somewhat quickly from one camp to the other. If you have access to it, make use of it whenever you don't feel like making the long trip on foot. There are a few higher level armors you can get later in the game that, when worn, allow you to access the fast travel menu with the press of a button, which saves a whole lot of hair pulling. Sleep or eat in safe zones. If you find yourself low on health or magic after retreating to a safe zone, i.e. one of the camps, sleeping in a bed or eating will fully restore all of your HP and MP. It should be noted that you can't just sleep in any bed or try to eat any food. If you're at Camp Half-Blood, you'll need to find your bed in your cabin, even if you're playing as Frank or Hazel. You'll also need to sit down at your cabin's table in the mess hall. If you're at Camp Jupiter, it's even trickier than that. Frank and Hazel both have beds at camp, as do former members of the Legion like Jason or Percy, but the others will need to rent a room at the inn in New Rome if they want to sleep, or build a house in New Rome, which brings me to my final tip. Don't ignore the property in New Rome. If you're going the completionist route, you definitely won't want to ignore the property you can buy in New Rome. This side quest allows you to buy a plot of land and slowly build your own house. Once built, you can customize the inside and outside by buying furniture and even pets. However, this quest offers a lot more if completed than just fun. It opens up a new fast travel location as well as all of the available crafting stations. If you choose to buy a bed for the house, it can offer a place in New Rome where you can heal up for free. On top of all of that, there is at least one other quest that can't be completed until you've built a house. So, I think you get it. Build the house. Your future self will thank you. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe picked up a few useful nuggets of knowledge along the way. If you haven't yet, you can give the alpha of Demigod Simulator a try for free by downloading it on GameJolt, link in the description below. You can also find links to all of the game's social media pages and a place to donate if you're feeling generous. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy your quests, Demigods!